There seems to be no shortage of videos on composition on YouTube, but what I've noticed, or what I haven't been able to find, are any videos that actually demonstrate rules of composition live while making the video. Often they draw on examples from the greats or use their own examples, which are often pretty bad. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot a video on composition actually using the rules of composition and explore composition a little bit beyond what the rules are and sort of explore the meaning compositional choices can convey. So first off, we have the rule of thirds, which is probably the first rule any new photographer will learn in school or on YouTube even. The rule of thirds is simply different than what we're used to. We associate that dead center composition where your subject is right in the middle with a snapshot. And sometimes just seeing something a bit different can make something more interesting. But as it being the most common rule used at the same time, it becomes very common in itself. However, the rule of thirds can give you other opportunities. For example, you can create leading lines that draw the eye in toward the subject. If you're at the Grand Canyon and you want to display that you were at the Grand Canyon, you don't necessarily want to intersect the entire image by putting yourself in the middle. When it comes to photographing or filming someone in which the background is perpendicular to the camera, we can often get very flat images. Flat in the sense that there's no distance and there is no direction to the image. By simply cutting an angle, I'm able to create a more dynamic image that has direction to it. In this example, the eye will start with me being closer to the camera, and that direction will kind of have your eye wander farther down that way. Conversely, I can place myself over here, and now the eye will lead in toward me. If I were in front of something with horizontal lines like a fence, I could further enhance this look, but even in front of a pretty blank wall, I'm able to create a more dynamic image by simply cutting an angle. Another way we can draw the eye in toward our subject matter is by blocking off your shot. You're essentially using distractions as a framing device to draw the eye in toward your subject. Here I'm combining multiple rules. I'm using the rule of thirds, and I'm also using a framing technique to hopefully good effect. It's important to understand that it's not like the more rules, the better. It's about using rules when they're called for, using the appropriate rules, not necessarily more. It all depends on what you're going for. Compositional choices can actually go beyond aesthetics. They can influence how a viewer feels or perceives a subject matter. For example, when you shoot from below, it gives a sense of importance, power, influence. In Citizen Kane, Orson Welles famously dug holes into the ground so that he could shoot from an even lower angle to show how important Kane was, how powerful he was. Sometimes we don't want to be very obvious about shooting from below, and we can be a bit more subtle. I often photograph politicians this way. I do a tiny bit of an angle, which works really well for their campaign material, etc. Conversely, we can shoot at a downward angle to have an opposite effect. It can convey feelings of weakness, disempowerment, disenfranchisement, as if I'm being looked down upon. A Dutch angle can make an image more fun, more whimsical, but it can also give the sense that something has gone awry. It's often used in thrillers or horror films where we really want to show that someone's world has been turned upside down. We can also get down to someone's level, and when we do that, it's like peering into their world or peering into what their perspective of the world is. These were just a few ways we can use composition, both for aesthetic value, but also to change how a viewer perceives a subject matter or how they feel. There's definitely more, and I would be happy to explore it further in another video if you guys liked this content. I'm also open to doing a video like it in which we explore different topics like light and shadow, that kind of thing. But let me know in the comments